Hello, my name is Stephen Wierzbinski, and this is my reflection journal number 2 for 604. And we're going to start off with some questions and answers. The first question was, which students belong in AP honors courses? We're at elementary school, we don't have AP or honors, but we do have is GATE. And in order, unfortunately, the system's not very well known throughout the district, so what happens is it's just a teacher nominated, and most teachers don't take the time to do it. I mean, that's one area of focus we need to work on in our school. To what degree do teachers accept responsibility for educating all of their students at high academic standards? I think as teachers, we all want to do that. I think that's one of the biggest areas on our site that we needed to grow. We need vertical alignment. We have grade level, but when we get up into the upper grades, it's very small. There's 2 6th grade, 2 5th grade classes. I mean, when we work together, it's better to help us hold each other accountable, to make sure that we're meeting the standards, especially for the next year coming. So that's one area that we are growing as a site. Who should be involved in making decisions that impact teaching and learning? I think that should be everybody. I think when everybody has buy-in to the system or buy-in to the programs that we're using on a site, the more people that are involved in making that decision, the more buy-in we're going to have ultimately for the teachers who are going to be using the programs in the classroom. What is an appropriate way to view parents and guardians' role in educating their children? I think parents and guardians have just as much responsibility as us, and I think bringing them in, whether that be through PTO or some other organizations, that's crucial. Not to mention parent volunteers in the classroom, having them in there, parents helping with homework. They're just as important in the everyday life or the education life of every student. How does the school define disruptive student behaviors, and what are the appropriate consequences? Right now, this is some stuff that we've been working on district-wide and site-wide. We're implementing PBIS. It's part of my growth goal too that we just had to change, and it's going to come back up here in a little bit. But it's a teacher-by-teacher basis right now, and then the problem is the consequences are inconsistent, so it's creating a mess on there. But I think the problem is deeper than that. I think this is an overall goal where we want to get is having a site-wide matrix and expectations to where every grade level kind of builds on each other, but then they're all the same. It's crystal clear and the process is clear. What is the school's responsibility in improving the relationships among students, disruptive behaviors, their learning needs, and their lack of academic success? I think that's huge for the school. If we can't curb the behaviors, if we can't get those behaviors, they're not learning academically, and that does fall on us, on the teachers. Doesn't mean we need the students to conform necessarily to us, but if we can help curb those behaviors by different types of interventions or getting them counseling or other tools that we have to our disposal, that's how we can get these kids to start performing better academically and behaving and enjoy school. To what degree do teachers respect and trust each other? I think on our site, there's cliques. I think that's one of the biggest things is, the way I look at the site is it's kind of divided into thirds. You got 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, and I think that as teachers, we kind of need to come together a little bit better on site. I don't think it's the worst. I think there's worse, but I do think that's an area of growth that we could use. And then to what degree do teachers respect and trust their building administrator? I believe that is up in the air right now. We do have a new principal, and it's been kind of controversial from what I hear among everybody. But give her time, and we'll see how that ends up. It's her first year. She's finding her ropes as well. So to what degree do the teachers respect their colleagues' capacities to educate all students at high academic standards? Up in the 5th, 6th, I think we all have a tremendous amount of respect for each other. Going down, I don't know. Going down in the lower grade levels very well what that looks like. I know up in the 5th and 6th grade, we do have a tremendous respect. I think one of our teachers up there thinks he's a little bit higher than everybody, and maybe he is. He has been teaching for many years, and he does a very good job with the students. So, but overall, we get along great, and I think we all kind of push each other to make sure we're holding them to those high standards. But overall, That's basically the answers to the 9 questions. So moving on, it says once you have responded to all of the questions, if you don't then front them out, discuss in your video journal the common assumptions and practices regarding each of the questions in general, and not question by question. You know, I think there is a lot of common assumptions that happen. I think everybody assumes that just teachers all get along. I also think that everybody just thinks every kid can learn in a single way versus adapting to the students or adapting to the cultures or adapting to the needs of the students. I think a lot of teachers coming in thinking, oh, I'm going to do it this way, and that's just going to be the way it's going to be. And that doesn't realistically work at all. It's our job to accommodate those students. There's also the misnomer or the mentality of, hey, I don't want other parents in my room. But realistically, when you have those parents in your room, they really help you out. I mean, you can do more small reading groups, better science projects, bigger history projects. I mean, just it's limitless what they have the capabilities of doing. So that really helps out. And so those are some of the misnomers that I see. So selecting one question, if I had to look at it, the parent involvement, I think that question, coming from the teacher's perspective, from mine, is they're helpful in the classroom, I enjoy them. Other teachers just choose not to have them. So that kind of is going to vary from teacher to teacher. From a student, some students may be embarrassed to have their kids in the class. Maybe like it's a babysitting thing. In my experience this year, I had some that came in and some students felt that way. The other one was very accepting and enjoyed having their mother there. So I think that's kind of varies, but from the student's perspective, that's something we got to be careful of and make sure that the student's okay with it so that they're prepared for it. And then as far as the parents, I think that goes two ways. Some parents are just that really involved and they like being involved with the school. And then the other ones just believe it's the school's fault, the school's got to do everything, and they like to place the blame there. When in reality, it's a give and take relationship. The teacher has to be willing to work with the parents have to be willing to work with the teacher to maximize the potential of the student. When the teachers don't work with the parent or the parent doesn't work with the teacher, we're not maximizing the student's academic ability, and I think that's something that needs to be focused on at all schools, not just our site, but I think teacher by teacher, that's something that needs to be addressed. So this is my video journal for number 2. Thank you very much.